it's been a long ride.
Let's go to two things. One thing I'm thinking about, what's your view of the future with regard to water? And another thing is that now that you're in the golden years of retirement, let's say,
Very kind thing to say.
are you still somewhat involved? Do people still tap your resources? Do people still ask for advice? Maybe we'll do that first, because it's not like you disappeared. You're still here and you're a valuable resource. Both of you are a valuable resource.
Well, I think we could both speak to that, but I'll go first. Yes, the answer is yes. I think both of us are still involved. The nature photography thing sounds a little silly or maybe obsessive or whatever, but I truly believe that with his and my activity with these photos, people are more aware of those things perhaps than they would otherwise be. It may not be a great difference, but he just got literally hundreds of hits on one of his pictures. Every now and then I'll get that many, but I think it makes people more aware of what we have and what we're losing in a lot of places. I actually served after I retired as the Save Crystal River director. I'll be honest with you, they were really looking for somebody more that was computer oriented on keeping track of all the money and everything. I did that for about a year, enjoyed it. Most of the quote vacations that go on somehow are on the water somewhere, and I think both Sonny and I, when we're asked to speak publicly, I do a presentation on the wild things of Florida, but typically tied into that are water resources. You got a wading bird over here, and I'll tell the story. This old boy was up in the green swamp and still protected by the state, etc. So I think we both try to do that, and I enjoy doing that. So.
Well, let me. You want to hear about what's going on? I think anybody that is involved in Florida's natural systems and wanting to see them maintained forever need to pay attention to what's happening politically, because since the year 2000, there has been a concerted effort to reduce the regulatory structure that was put into place over 50 years, going back to the early 70s, which I mentioned earlier. There were laws passed then that began to provide protection for natural systems. And over the next 50 years up until today, those up until 10 years ago, those laws were in effect. And that encompasses all the years when everything was the environmental concerns of the country and the world were heightening up to a high level. And now that heightened environmental concern for natural systems is being fought. It's being actually attacked by politics. So the regulators are now, being decimated. The rules that authorize the regulation of those systems are being changed to allow greater impacts on it. And it's happening, and it's happening at a faster and faster rate. And today it's a big problem. If anybody's concerned about the natural systems in the state of Florida and whether or not they're going to be available for their children and their children's children, they need to pay attention to what's going on, because it is being impacted. If you look at the number of rooftops being put in the ground in Citrus County, Pasco County it's incredible. Every hill, it seems, is being flattened, and rooftops are being put in there. These houses are 2-story, some of them. They're long, we used to call them shotgun houses, because you can look in this end and see out the other, shoot a shotgun through it. But they're long, modern houses, and they're 15 feet apart. And there's hundreds of them going in these 500-acre, 1,000-acre tracts everywhere. All that's going to translate into an increasing demand for water and sewage and streets and everything else that's associated with development. which is great if you're in that business and you want to make a lot of money, but it's not great for natural systems. So it's going to be extremely important that the young people pay attention to the politics and the nature of those politics, to use a word, because it's changing. So that's my 2 cents.
I totally agree with Sonny. If you have an opportunity, he just posted a wonderful summary of what he just said on Facebook. And I thought handled it very straightforward without calling anybody names or, if you will, stirring the pot, just the factual, almost what he just said. At the time we were around in water management, the legislature was totally, in my mind, I'd say 90%, in favor of making sure we preserved our important environmental areas land-wise, and that's what Fritz and he did with Wekiwachi Springs. And they were just like the thing with the Cross Florida Barge Canal. They stopped that as soon as they figured out there was a problem. Today, I fear that is totally different. You can still do development as long as you follow reasonable plans. And we're staying in Citrus Hills where they preserved the trees in the old days. The lots are, I think, an acre or two in size. So there's room for recharge to still occur. What he's describing, when you have houses 15 feet apart, you're cutting down on the water that gets into the system, in my opinion. I'm just saying, you can do development if you follow the I hate to say rules, but if you follow common sense things that will help us continue to have a beautiful state of Florida.
He's talking about me being on Facebook. One of the things that I do, and Gary does too, is we happen to have loud mouths and big mouths, and we say things in conjunction with our pictures. We make comments associated with it, and sometimes it gets a little political. Sometimes it gets a lot political, doesn't it? So I think this is why taking the photographs. So many people are still in touch with natural Florida. They have a desire, an intense desire to be associated with it still, and we give them that ability, at least through pictures. But it also brings up comments. They wish that it could be. I remember that the way it used to be. And it makes us, in a sense, a focal point of those people who don't care about the environment. They make comments back on those Facebook pages when we make comments to the contrary. And so we get into a discussion on Facebook, and that's what you're talking about. And it just so happens that in the last week or so, I get a comment from a former Speaker of the House, Johnny Byrd. Now, he's a lawyer down in Tampa. He's not in the legislature anymore. But he wrote something that suggested that because it was difficult for me as a regulator to appreciate freedom without regulation. And so deregulation is something that scares me, because that's what he says. Well, that wasn't something that I felt lightly about, and so I responded to that. Now, this goes back to how we stay involved with the community and environmental issues. So I responded back to him, and what Gary is saying is the response, I tried to be very careful about it. I didn't want to be nasty. I didn't want to be, negative in a sense. I wouldn't want to be strong.
Handled it very well.
I didn't want to be emotional. That's the word
That's
I'm looking
right,
for.
yeah.
So, I went back and researched and gave him some factual numbers and things very calmly and said, just for your consideration. Well, I got hundreds of reactions in support of me. Probably 40 and 50 or 60 comments in support. Now, I got some nasty things too, but I feel like my my Facebook platform is my platform, and I'm not going to put up with anybody's senseless and stupid remarks coming with. So I just block them. I've deleted and blocked them. I mean, I feel very good about that. So you go on there, be nice and clean and pro-environmental, okay? So, anyway. So I think that that's why we find ourselves continually involved, is because the pictures triggers a desire, a want to keep that Florida like that, but it also triggers that other side, and so it creates a need to speak up and to be involved. And so Gary gets invitations all the time to go and speak to people and show his pictures and talk about the pictures and the environment. I haven't done that much. I tell myself I'm too busy, but I'm here talking to you. So,
All right, so why don't we transition into the pictures now? Now, here's what I want to do. I can start with you, Sonny, and your binder. But I want you to just take a picture and talk about it. I want verbiage, not just the scene itself, but some more meaning behind it. Or if you want to make a statement about how this is important to be preserved, or maybe it's an endangered species and why it's endangered. You can go anywhere you want there. So you can make a political statement, but also the photo. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that photo and I'll show a still. Your video won't be in there, but your voice will be.
Yeah, I understand.
So I'll fade in and fade out. You'll start a little bit talking about it. Here's though I really like this picture here. This has got a lot of meaning to me. And then I'll flip over to the still of the picture, but your voice will be underneath it.
So I don't need to hold the picture up now because
Well-
mine are not as good a quality as his. But
Well, I want you to talk about yours too.
Yeah, you just use it as a talking point.
yeah.
He'll
And then
take your
you'll
digital.
put the picture in later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
with you. I'm with
Yeah.
you.
Now
Well,
you might
my-
have to tell me. I've got a picture of I don't know
I feel like this is one of my best pictures.
Well,
Just-
yeah, but I won't be showing that picture.
I hear you now.
I'll
I
be
hear
showing
you.
the
Yes, sir.
actual picture.
'Cause I'll get
The
you better. I'll
So-
get you his quality
Yeah,
picture.
I'm going to take the actual pictures and bring it up,
Gotcha.
but I want the verbiage underneath.
Gotcha.
Okay,
Okay.
so-
Okay.
Let's.
How are you going to do this? I mean, I've got. I
You
don't
pick
know.
out the ones you want.
I've probably got
And you
50.
turn a page, and I'll cut the part where you're turning
Oh,
pages.
so do more than one.
Yeah, I don't know. Do 10.
Okay.
And
Okay.
we'll pick out the best of 10 or something.
So sorry. So
Just pick out one for a demo, and I'll show you how to hold it.
what you need to do is you need to see it so that you can. Well, you won't actually be showing this. You'll
No, all I want, the video portion is only for your voice.
be. Yeah.
But I'll see it in the camera. Okay, that's the one I got to bring up.
I'll get you better quality picture, but those are the two I would
Well,
pick.
I know that. Okay. Oh, the
Okay.
two you sent to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Digital. Just send him your thumb drive.
Oh, I've got the thumb drive.
Okay.
I'll pull it off the thumb drive.
Yeah.
So if you're talking about the alligator, I'll pull the alligator off the thumb drive. All this really is your voice about that photo. So
Gotcha.
and you can flip through it. It's okay. Because I'll just skip those and say, and then you'll find, oh yeah, and this one here, and I'll know which one you're talking about. So all I need to do, I'm not going to need you in here at all, but I need you to just so I can see a little bit of it.
Yeah. Okay.
As long as I can get it, I'm all set. Okay. So,
So why don't you go ahead and talk about your pictures there first?
Well, but I'm not going to hold these. I'm just going to talk.
yeah, but you have to tell me the name of the
Hold
picture
it.
or something.
Okay.
He's not going to show you. He's going to when you start
just gonna
talking
get
about the
my
picture.
voice, yeah, yeah.
All they're going to see is the digital
gotcha.
version.
Yes,
They won't
yeah.
see you or that picture.
Sure.
All right, if we're going to do that, let me go to Harry. I'm going to change the position here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so I can see the photo.
Let me get this out of the way.
Okay, hold on here. All right, Gary, go ahead and start talking
Okay.
about your photos. Okay.
Well, there's a lot of people that know me well. I love the nature photography. As a Florida native, I grew up experiencing many outdoor adventures, if you will. Everything from lakes to saltwater to fishing to just hiking trails. So I do have a couple of favorite pictures. And probably the truth of the matter is there's probably 100 favorite pictures, but two of them stand out to me. One is a picture of a mama gator. I'm estimating about 8 or 9 feet long. about 6 blocks from my former residence in Floral City. There's a housing development being built maybe 25 yards from where this big gator was with her 14 young babies. If you know anything about alligators, the male often comes back and actually will eat a small gator, and mama protects the babies from the father as well as anybody else. You know, she wasn't real happy with me being there. The picture I have is Mama Gator. I have a great little camera that has great zoom. There's a baby, and she just eases off the shoreline, riding on her forehead. The look on the little gator's face is she's so happy. And when I first came up there's 14 babies laying around her.
Happy alligator.
That's the alligator, yes. Okay, the other one, I think Sonny and I both will agree there's a balance between wildlife and scenes, such as an unusual sunset, sunrise. There's all, you know, lighthouses. I love lighthouses. I think there's a lot of, I think we're missing the direction to lighthouses today, but I have a picture taken on the Chesapeake River at sunset. It's way in the distance. The sun, reflection of the sun is coming across the water in front of me. Way off is simply the shadow of cabbage palm trees. And I was so happy to have a lady interested in that picture. She ordered a 6-foot long version of that picture. That makes me feel good. She just went on and on about she'd been looking for this kind of thing for a long time. So those are the two basic kinds of pictures I usually take: scenery and wildlife. And I just enjoy it. I think it does. I have people tell me it makes them feel more like they're worried about the direction we're headed, and we've got to save some of this for sure. So I love doing the photography.
Okay. All right, now, Sonny, something similar. You can do an intro, and then we'll just do all of the photos. So, there you go.
Well, I have probably, and Gary does too, I'm sure, probably over 100,000 images over the last 10 years, taken over the last 10 years, easily, and probably more than that. And so recently I've tried to break them down into categories, and the categories are nature, birds, faces and people, just other things, and landscapes like Gary's talking about, sunsets, and just unique photographs of Florida woods, even just trees maybe, or a silhouette of a tree, a beach scene, those kinds of things. So I've separated those. But today I've just got birds. So I'll talk about birds. One thing that about birds is they have unique characteristics, and some of them are extraordinary. And one of the extraordinary scenes that you can see in a very shallow beach area, and this was down in Pinellas County at Fort DeSoto Beach, we came across a reddish egret, which is not common in Florida, but they're not. I don't think they're protected or anything, but you just don't see them around very often. But they have a way of catching their food, their bait, the small fish that are at their feet in very shallow water. Let's say it's 6 inches deep. They're wading around in it, and they have a way of dancing, almost chasing these fish, and holding out their arms to shade the sun so that they can see the fish down there, and then making real quick movements, and it's almost a dance. It's really a beautiful thing to see. So this is the reddish egret, but there's also a reddish egret morph, which is exactly the same bird, but it's totally white. And so they will do the same thing. And to see these birds out there doing that is just extraordinary. So that's the reddish egret. And then there's the way other characteristics now. This is the
Snowy?
snowy egret. Yes, snowy. Yeah, snowy egret. What's interesting about these birds is that they're small. So if you see them in a place where a lot of birds are nesting, they sort of they seem very nervous. They're always moving around, and of course these other big birds, a full the gray blue heron, maybe have a nest right there, and this one will come walking along, and both of them will fluff up and get mad or try to scare each other away and get away. That's what's happening here. This one was on a branch. We had a little wind blowing in the opposite direction, but he fluffed up, or she fluffed up, whatever it is, in that situation. So that's a lot of fun to watch because you see a lot of interaction between the birds. There's competition, both mating competition and just physical, being physically next to another bird that's not the same bird. So then there's any birds are just interesting no matter what. One of the most difficult things to do is to be out in the wild. Now, if you're on the beach, the birds are going to be there concentrated, but a lot of times you're just out in the woods or on a dirt road, more likely, in the panhandle or somewhere, just driving along real slow, maybe 5 miles an hour, 10 miles an hour. There's no traffic on these, and if another car shows up, you just get out of the way. But you drive real slow and you look for things, and if you're lucky, you'll see something like an owl. This is a barred owl, and they're very skittish. It's very difficult to get close to them, so you have to be very quiet or patient for them to come around. And sometimes you can make a noise that'll, not loud noise, but just some kind of noise that'll get their attention. And they'll turn toward you. And that's what we did with this board out here. On a lone stick out there, and we were not out in the open. The bird was. So that's how we got that shot. But birds continually, they can be beautiful in so many ways. This is a tricolored heron, and I like the dark background and the color that showed up, just very muted and but still very colorful shot, where they're actually grooming, trying to get the mites out from their coat, their feathers. Common things looks like an anhinga. If you catch them in the right pose with the right light, it's a very beautiful shot, and it's something that you just wouldn't expect, because when you see them and they're far away, they're just black birds. They're water turkeys, some people call them, and they're not very pretty. But you can catch them in the right position with the right light, and it makes a shot. Cardinals are beautiful to take a picture of anytime you can. They're very fast. They don't sit still very long. And so the best time to catch those is when they're cold and they're not moving very fast. So that's how I caught this one in early morning right in my yard. That's another snowy. That's a mating pose. And this is the mating pose of a great blue. Isn't it? Is that a great blue? Yes.
Beautiful shot. Great shot.
So you'll see that pose is something to do with the mating. I had never seen them do that. There's another bird that does that to be able to hide in the grasses.
Well, the sandhill crane does that in a dance with the mate. Puts his head up like this and flaps her wings, and they're looking right at each other. That's a beautiful shot.
This is a mating pose for the snowy egret. I think the thing that makes that picture is the contrast between the bird. The bird is very prominent, and was able to darken the background to bring the bird out. And then if it's in focus and you get the very fine feathers, the show feathers there, that's part of the photograph. And then there are some birds that are so interesting it's unbelievable. What is a still bird? Is that what we call a still bird? Stilt, yes. Very unique birds, and you don't see a lot of them, and they're usually at a great distance. So we're lucky to be able to get these shots. Then it's a red-winged blackbird.
That's a beauty there, man.
Yeah.
Lake Apopka Wildlife Drive.
I think so. Yeah. And that's your white egret, great white. Stork, you're a wood stork. They're terribly ugly from the neck up, but the rest of them are very, very beautiful and graceful. And if you catch them in a mating situation, this one is building a nest, helping mama build a nest. But if you can catch them in the right stance, either coming in for a landing, or if they're interacting with each other and their feathers are out like this, that's the best. That's the best shot you can get. And lighting, always the lighting has to be there. Of course, getting shots of a nest with babies and the mother tending to them is what makes it always an interesting shot. And what's even more interesting is when she's actually feeding them, and you can get a picture. And I think you have a picture of
Orlando wetlands.
she actually see the fish that she has in her mouth being transferred to the babies. So this is the scrub jay, which is a threatened species, which is only in Florida over on the East Coast in several pockets still, but they're rapidly disappearing because they're losing habitat. So you go over there, and they're so used to having humans walking around there, you can hold up your hand like this, and they think you're trying to feed them because they're protected, and so everybody wants to go and see them. So I was lucky to get that shot. So he's just picking at something in the bark there. It looks like he's got maybe his tongue right there.
Uh-huh.
But see, this is another shot. This is a tricolored heron, and it looks like he's just absolutely stuck his foot in the electric socket. But
Those are great shots, Sonny. Great shots.
it's because it's a mating position, or either that, or he's reacting to another bird that's threatened his position. It's one of the two.
They used to be called a Louisiana heron, and I like that name better than tricolored.
I didn't know that.
No, I'm just saying.
That's interesting. Of course, the pileated woodpecker is always a fun thing to look at, and I was just looking at it back to that. But the pileated woodpecker, I think, is the woodpecker that Woody the Woodpecker,
Yeah.
and the comics are. That's what it's after, or taken after, because he can stand that hair up straight like that, like Woody the Woodpecker's is. Always, this looks kind of silly. So that was taken in my yard, and he's eating these Japanese plums. Then there's the spoonbill. Spoonbill, that's your favorite bird, I think, to take a picture of. You're always looking for them.
I have. Well, the demand for them is high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The market.
Yes.
So this is Orlando Wetlands Park again down in Christmas, Florida, and it was early in the morning, and just catching them jumping around, and when you get a shot where the light's sort of coming in the back through their wings, that defines the feathers, and sometimes you can almost see the actual bone in the wing if the light's strong enough from the back. But they're beautiful birds from the neck down. Their head, that platypus face, is not. I don't think it's worthy of a great shot. Here's I call this a wedding shot. It's you see the mating. I gotta call these mating feathers. I don't know what they are, but
Yeah.
this is the feathers that almost rendered them extinct during the turn of the century, because this is what they were hunted for. They killed thousands of them to get these feathers and the plumes for women's hats and things like that. But they've come back strong. They're everywhere now. And this is a cattle egret, and I thought that was interesting because of the cleanness of the shot, with just this very strong support and this little tiny bird up here, and that eye is completely expressionless. It's almost, it's not like the eye here or the eye of other birds. It's almost, strange.
I always feel good when you can capture in a clear photo of being able to see the pupil and the eye of the bird or animal. I feel like that's a successful shot.
So this is I think it's the red-bellied woodpecker.
Yes. Yes.
And that's, again, my yard. That's the Japanese plum. They're very fast and sneaky. It's hard to get close to them. This is the meadowlark, and we can catch a lot of these down south.
They're Lake Okeechobee.
Lake Kissimmee. And I call this one, it's, the glory of song kind of thing. So they make a lovely sound, and they're so pretty when you catch them with their mouth open. You know they're singing. A lot of times they're on the ground. They hop around on the ground a lot. And then there's peaches. That was the
That's the wildlife park.
no, this is DeSoto, Fort DeSoto.
Oh, okay.
Blown
yeah,
in by
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
hillside
They got
of the
one of the
hurricane.
north end.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, not near the bridge. There's that pileated woodpecker look with that hat on it.
Yeah.
But this bird came in as a result of a hurricane that happened in last year, I think. Last year's when they all were
Her
blown.
name is Rosie or something.
No,
Got a name.
this one's Peaches.
Oh, Peaches.
Peaches.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
close.
So, so anyway, we made a special trip down to Fort DeSoto to get a shot like this, and I got several. And this was just the best one I liked.
You should say that it's a flamingo, because you didn't say the word flamingo.
I didn't say flamingo.
No, so just say it again. Say,
This is a flamingo. Yeah, but this is a flamingo that was blown in by a hurricane and was deposited along the beaches in Fort DeSoto. And the way that works is they are disturbed by the winds at the edges of the hurricane, so they locate themselves in the eye. And as the eye moves, and with that calmer air, they move with it, and so it can move the birds hundreds of miles. And that's what happened there. It happened in Florida, as a matter of fact. Some of these birds ended up in Cedar Key. Yeah. Flamingos do things with their body that, if the lighting is right, is just fantastic. It's just, it's just very graceful, and if you can catch it just right with the dark background, it doesn't look like a bird. It doesn't look like a flamingo. It just looks like a work of art to me. And of course, there's the Anhinga, and the thing that I like about this shot is that it's clean. There's nothing to distract you here, and here you see this very beautiful bird on a very stable branch. The weight, the support, the cleanliness, and of course the detail on the bird, and that makes the shot for me. There's that songbird, the meadowlark.
Yeah.
This one is. And the reason I like that shot is, again, because of the cleanliness. There's just the bird and there's just the support. Then there's a glossy ibis, right? Young
Lipkin.
Yes, I think you're right because of the specs. Yes. Here's the ibis. That's the
Yeah,
young.
yeah.
Limpkin. Yeah.
There is a glossy ibis that has, it's got real shine, real bright.
This is a young bird. That's
a Lipkin, I think.
I know, but it's young.
Yes.
Yeah. And this one's young too because they're actually dark brown. The white ibis. This is the white ibis, but they're usually as young. They're dark, and then they start getting blotchy, and eventually they turn white. And of course, the brown pelican. They can put themselves, and if you get the lighting just right, what a shot that is! I think. And this red color here, with the eye, and the orientation of it. It's great. This is the white.
I never knew you were this talented.
This is the reddish egret again, the white morph, and you can see that's the kind of the dance they do. And this is just one shot, but you can see it's all kinds of shots or maneuvers that they make when they're in the water.
That's not bad. That's great.
Yeah, this is this is probably due to a snowy. It's probably due to another bird approached him, and he wanted to fluff up and be as large as he possibly could. This is a mating maneuver here, and that's a whitey.
I have that shot too. 800 millimeter lens.
No, it's a 600 with a 1.2 extend or a magnifier on it. 1.4, excuse me. Again, the Anhinga. I thought the having these water lilies around in the back, I thought that was interesting with the slight green contrast, one post. This is the female red-winged blackbird here, and it was just so clear, and the way that look is on the eye and the head, the way the light hit that, made it a good shot, I think. So anyway, I've got 4 more books.
So you use your photography to link it to preserving nature, basically,
Yes.
getting the word out. Can you just say that again so that I can capture your thoughts about photography?
Well, what I was trying to say is that there is in people who have grown up in Florida and have been here for years, realize what Florida was as late as 20 or 30 years ago, and if they're like me, they're really old, and you go back to the 50s, they have can't think of the word, but it's kind of a yin to be there again, to see that again, to feel that part of Florida that existed back then, which is changing. So when we do pictures like this, they connect to it, and that connection makes us interested in feeding that back to them. So it puts our interest in the birds and nature and the art of it all. That's why we do it, is to feed that interest. And it I've talked about this with Gary and others, that when you get older, Gary's almost 80, right?
February.
And I'm 83. I'll be 83 in a week. When you get that age, you have to find something that makes you continue to be relevant. It keeps your mind active. It keeps you physically active. It just keeps you alive. So when people are interested in my art and my connection with the Florida that I grew up in, that's very satisfying to me, and that's makes me relevant. But it feeds back and gives something back to the people that are interested too. So that's basically what it's about.
Perfectly said.
So let's kind of round this up by saying, like, I hope you've enjoyed our presentation, and maybe say something to get them focused on preserving or putting more value.
Focus on what now?
Focus on giving people incentive to preserve what we have in the past. So somehow, but you can each say that individually. Okay, whoever wants to go first.
I'll go. I think the reason that most of us really enjoy nature photography, number one, I personally enjoy it, but I'm hoping that other people from the photographs and whatnot that we take understand the importance, particularly here in Florida, of the beautiful natural areas that we have. There are over, I think I'm reading the number, over 1,000 freshwater springs in Florida. That is just absolutely unusual. There's no other state, to my knowledge, that has that many.
In the world.
In the world, thank you.
That's right.
And those environments are just absolutely gorgeous. You just capture beautiful scenes, beautiful wildlife scenes. I think most people, if they really at least pay attention on the periphery, will find, number one, it makes you personally feel good that those things are there, and number two, how important it is to preserve those areas, because a lot of those places are found nowhere else in the world. So I think it's important for a lot of reasons, but personal enjoyment and the feeling that you see these things and appreciate them, I think, is very important.
I don't think I could say it any better. It's exactly what it's all about. It's the feeling that you're actually recording something that may not be here in the years to come. Things are changing, and people who have lived here in Florida see the change, and it makes them disturbed because they know the change is not good. So what we do is we capture, it could be the last vestiges in terms of, a period of years, maybe the vast vestiges of this 100 years versus what the last 100 years was, and now were, and the coming 100 years now is going to be totally different. So what we're doing is recording and hopefully making people understand that the changes are happening now and they need to be involved. And I hope that what we do gets them involved.
Well said. I would simply add to that my biggest concern is this is happening, in my opinion, on purpose, which that part of it really, there's people that want to do away with these areas. And I hate to say it's for the sake of the finances and the money and all that, and my humble opinion. That to me is what's sad about this, but I think it increases the need for people to realize what it is that we have, and we don't want to lose it. So, thank you.
So what are you going to do with it?